Hello, hello. Today we have GLAMLITE's Chucky palette. Okay, y'all will not believe, but I actually got this palette first round when it came out last year. So I got this palette back in February 2023. I didn't try it until this past week. Like, it literally took me almost an entire year to try this palette because that is how many palettes I have. I do have a video I put out a couple months ago sharing my collection of makeup that I had at that point. Since then, I've definitely have collected a lot more makeup. I've definitely given away a lot more makeup. But go check that video out because I have an incredible amount of palettes. Not 400 palettes, but you know, it's still a lot for a consumer, honestly. So I got this palette a year ago. I finally decided to try it out the last week of February. So that's when I started to try this out. And you guys, I can see why. I can definitely see why. This is GLAMLITE's, as far as they have claimed, this is GLAMLITE's best-selling palette. And there is absolutely a reason for that, because of the GLAMLITE palettes I've tried so far, this is the best GLAMLITE palette I have tried so far. It is so good. It's so amazing. And I instantly knew it was going to be a hit. I saw the color story, and I'm like, this is going to sell out. This will sell out. And it did sell out. I only got the palette when it originally released, because that's all I wanted at the time. I just wanted the palette. Because, you guys, as a millennial kid, this freaking doll scared the bejeebus out of me, okay? I was so freaked out. I think when I was 6 years old, I caught like a scene from the movie because I think my uncles were watching it in the living room or something. As a 6-year-old, I ended up catching like a scene, and that scene freaking haunted me. Like, it creeped the hell out of me, and I literally started having like nightmares, and I started getting afraid of the dark. Like, it was so bad. This freaking guy scared the crap out of me. So I was a bit reluctant because of like, I have, to this day, I still have not seen a Chucky film. I still have not seen a single Child's Play movie because it scares the crap out of me. But I had to buy this palette because the color story is so beautiful. It was so up my alley. So of course you can see this is the card in here, right? And then got all this information in the back. And I was there when the first round sold out, and then I saw that they put up, you know, pre-orders, and then the pre-orders sold out. So then they had to set up another pre-order to the pre-orders, and that pre-order sold out. Like, it was crazy last year. This stuff sold out so fast, and it's still selling out, and it's still on the website right now, still available. They know that this is a moneymaker. So this is the outside, and this is the actual palette, and it's like reflective, which for me, just personally, I'm like, creepy as hell. I hate this guy. He's so creepy. She's cute. He scares the shit out of me. But this is what the outside looks like, and I feel like I'm gonna say something brave yet controversial. I think, color story wise, I think this is a better quote-unquote goth palette than the cremated palette from Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star came out with the cremated palette and he called it like a goth palette. This feels more like an actual like goth girl, goth queen fantasy than the cremated palette. So let's open her up. So these are the shades inside. I just fell in love with this color story. I just, like, this isn't like an actual like goth girl's dream. I thought this was so pretty, and it applies so good as well. It has the best shimmers, and the mattes are just so easy to work with. I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea. I already know that. I get that. But I'm just saying that I was so surprised how, for blacks and reds, I don't think most people consider that to be beginner friendly. But because these shades worked so well and were so easy to blend and use, this palette is so beginner friendly. There were some shades I thought could have been a little bit better, but I think overall I was really surprised how fun this was to use. It was just giving my dark fantasy. There are, you know, I always have a little bit of, you know, some quips about what's in here. Like, for example, there's 3 blacks in here, but they are all different. If you're a kid who grew up wearing a lot of black in high school, you know that there are different kinds of blacks. So there is like this pitch black, just absolute pitch black matte. And then over here we have a black matte, but it has sparkles. Let's see if you can catch that. You see those sparkles? It's a black matte with sparkles. And then over here we have another black, and it's like a cream almost. Like, can you see that? You can see that, right? Like, look at that. It's like a cream. It's in between this space of, it's not a matte, but it's not a shimmer. I wouldn't call it a shimmer. It's more of a cream. Now, if I had to get rid of any shade, I would get rid of this one. I think it's pretty. I think I like the concept of there being red glitters, red shimmers in this black. But once on the eye, you could not see the red shimmer. The red shimmer did not appear. She was not in the room with us. So it seemed like such a waste. There is a really nice dark gray up here. So maybe like a lighter gray could have worked in this palette, which is crazy to say because I know Jeffree's had way too many grays. But I think this palette could have been helped by maybe like a medium gray. So you have a lighter gray up here. This is a really dark gray. Maybe something in between, or maybe like a, I don't know, some sort of gray perhaps. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of what other shades to put in here. Maybe a brighter red? I don't know. It's hard to say because GLAMLITE so far has made so many palettes with red in it. Like, y'all noticed that, right? Like, there was the Bitty Boot palette, there was the red Icy palette. I'm sure there's other ones I'm not thinking of right now, but there's, I feel like, so many palettes. Like, the Nightmare on Elm Street had a lot of red in it, and it just kind of seems like, how many different ways can you do a red palette, you know? So it's really nice that they used a bunch of maroons, and they're so soft. I love my favorite shades in here, just by when I was looking at them. This color down here reminds me of Jeffree Star's Scorpio shade, and then this shade up here kind of reminds me of like androgynous. Like, it felt like very familiar shades, but they worked so well, so freaking well. So even though, you know, I would get rid of this black because it's like a, it's a black, but it's not pitch black. The red in here didn't do anything. These two pretty much acted the same, except obviously this one was way more intense, and I'd rather have the way intense one than this kind of black washed shade. Like, I'm trying to look at my little camera here, and this looks like pitch black. And here you can see, it's not as black. As always, I want to do some swatches with you guys. I'm going to swatch first my least favorite shimmer. It's Wanna Play. It's this silvery shade. But I will say that this shade is a different formula than the other ones. And I say that because this shade has hollow in it. It has hollow in it, and I think because it has hollow and a different kind of sparkle, it made it a little bit more difficult to apply in my eye, a bit more difficult to see really that shift. You could see it in a lot of aspects, but sometimes you couldn't. So it's not too bad. I was kind of hoping for what Teresa Is Dead calls a Tin Man Dick eyeshadow, like a shimmer, just absolutely like bright as hell. We're not getting that here, but it's okay. It's the most standard meh shade in the entire palette, but I think all the rest in here are beautiful. The other shades I want to, for the shimmers, I want to kind of just touch this one. This one, I'm not going to get a proper swatch because I think this is more of a cream. It's definitely creamy. And I want to do, oh fudge, I want to do issue 66 because this color was bizarre. This color was weird. It has like a black base, but it looks purple in the pan. It was just so weird. And my favorite, oh, I don't know. God, I think Showtime. And Showtime is my favorite shimmer. I was pretty impressed with all the shimmers, but like I said, I was least impressed with this silver one. But here is, let's see, this one was my favorite shimmer. It was, I don't know, it just gave me what I wanted. It's, wow. So it has like a black base, and then this has like a pink, purple, maroon kind of top shift, if I can describe it that way. And I liked it because you could see it on my eye. It was captured on my eye. Now, this issue 666 was a lot harder to capture. I can see it in the glare a bit more now, but on my eye, I kept applying and applying, and it just looks black. So like if I shift it this way, I think you can see on camera, it just looks black. There's no real shift. And on this one, you can still see it has like that brown purple kind of color on top of that black base. If I shift this way, I think you can see that purple gleam a lot more. But on my eye, this one was a lot harder to see. And then we have this Your Pal Since 69, which, like I said, feels more of a cream than it did a shimmer. Like, I ended up applying this and using it as a eyeliner just because I could tell it looked like a different formula to the shimmers. And I honestly originally thought it was maybe a matte, but once applying it on my eye, I'm like, this is not a matte. You can also see this beautiful silver glitter. I love the silver glitter that they put in this kind of like creamy black. It just makes it so beautiful and sparkly. Like, I love that shade. I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting a very creamy shade in this palette, so that was really cool. And now we'll do my two favorite mattes, which was Let's Be Friends, which is like this purple over here, which like I said reminds me of Jeffree Star Scorpio. And then I'll do Scarier Than Ever, which reminded me of like androgyny. I hope I didn't super mix the shades. I'm running out of fingers to use. Let's maybe use my pinky. They were just so easy to blend. They weren't splotchy at all. I love the little embossings in here as well. Oh, this brown is just so sexy. I love a brown like that. I'm sure if you wanted to see all of these swatches, there's a video of it somewhere out there. But these are the standout shades that really stood out to me in this palette. God, it was so beautiful to use, so fun. This is Play Pals. Oh, I'm not afraid of any color. The only colors I'm afraid of are shades that don't show up on my skin and like using too much beige and brown. Honestly, like I will wear a blue eye, I will wear a black eyes, green, pink, yellows, oranges, I don't care. I love all the colors and I really loved how this formula performed in this palette. Alright, so do I recommend this palette? Abso-freaking-lutely. I think if this color story is up your alley, because I know it's not going to be for a lot of people. I know that this palette might be too dark for a lot of people, but this palette is so beautifully sexy and sultry, and I love this palette. I love the way it performed. You can definitely see why this is GLAMLITE's #1 selling palette, and I do recommend it if you can pick it up. This is a great addition, I think, to anyone's collection, because I can't really think of another palette that looks like this one. I think it's great. You'll have a wonderful day.